my fellow gamers, this is a list of projects made by big AAA teams, small indie studios, but also passionate individuals going at it alone to create some of the most interesting and fun RTS and base building strategy games. During this showcase, you will see and learn about 11 upcoming games of your favorite genre. Some of them are more micro-oriented, others very much macro. A few will take you back in time, but others present a dark future full of warfare in space and on other worlds. To find even more similar games, some of which may have already come out, use this link above or below to check out a playlist full of videos just like this one. My name is Toadie, and I am happy to be your host here on Peter's channel. First up, some new footage from an absolutely legendary sci-fi RTS franchise and its upcoming third game in the series, Homeworld. This was the railgun frigate in action, and it's just the first in a line of new ships which Blackbird Interactive will introduce to the series with Homeworld 3 and the return of the ballistic weapon system from Homeworld 1. It uses an energy-powered railgun to shoot incredibly powerful munitions at the enemy, which deals a huge amount of damage at long range with the ability to penetrate enemy hulls. The downside is the long power-up and how vulnerable this frigate is to strike craft. There has been precious little info and even less footage of Homeworld 3 so far, most of it coming from developer updates where this music you are hearing in the background is from. For those of you who are new to this franchise, Homeworld is... how does one even give it a short but also apt description of its greatness? At its core, it's a sci-fi real-time strategy with profoundly emotional storyline set in space where your units are also your bases and constructors. They are spaceships ranging from the iconic mothership and massive dreadnoughts to frigates and tiny strike craft fighting it out in a 3D environment, meaning you can move your base's units in all three axes. I could tell you so much more, but please just go and play the remastered version of the first and second game. Now, because this list is a mix of AAA and indie projects, let's see what one lone developer is trying to create. Ephemeris is a game with emphasis on realistic space combat. It features physics-based ship propulsion and movement based on linear and angular acceleration and other forces. Ship sizes range from fighter class to battleship and carrier classes. This will be backed up with a comprehensive strategy layer where you have to expand your civilization in the galaxy while managing production, food, and research. The game is in its early stages, evident by its minimal special effects, but what is important is just how many fantastic elements of the original Homeworld you can find in this game, and dare I say, some of those have been upgraded. The capital ships in this game are more maneuverable even when small craft are docking, while weapons on all ships are customizable. There are both fixed and turret type weapons as well as ones on a gimbal. Some weapon systems can even intercept others, like these medium ships destroying missiles mid-flight. Formations are incredibly versatile and ships are programmed to keep them in combat. The cherry on top, players can follow the combat from the perspective of a single ship and even fly it manually. Another landmark RTS franchise is getting its third game in the series, Company of Heroes. Fun fact, both it and Homeworld were originally created by the same developers at Relic Entertainment. Add to that the fact that those people are now making Age of Empires 4, which we also covered in the past, and they are practically the guardians of the RTS genre for 3 decades now. But back to Company of Heroes. The setting of the latest one is the Mediterranean, more precisely Italy and North Africa. A huge addition to gameplay is the dynamic campaign map where players will command the overall war effort in each theater in turn-based sandbox style with supply lines, air and naval strikes, partisan spy network, and upgrading veteran companies. The real-time battles are getting a new option as well, the full tactical pause. This feature allows players total control over the pacing of battles in single player. They can plan attacks and then queue up lethal precision plays at their leisure, enjoying the ensuing fireworks. It is going to be an incredible cinematic experience with all the upgrades to the engine, unit models, and effects. And as for units, not only will there be more factions than ever before, but also new and additional special units, like an M3 recovery vehicle half-track, which can now be used to repair repair, and steal abandoned enemy vehicles. A nod to Homeworld and the iconic salvage Corvette, which fans will appreciate. Let's go forward in time with Broken Arrow from the developers over at Steel Ballistics and its alternative timeline in which the armed and armored forces of USA and Russia duke it out on a massive peninsula. The game features a wide range of units that are split into 7 categories based on their characteristics. Your army includes recon units, infantry, fighting vehicles, support units, logistical units, helicopters, and airstrike slots. There will be over 200 different military units and technologies for you to fill those slots with, and on top of that, there are deep unit customization tools which allow you to modify the specific components of your units either individually or as a loadout. For aircraft, these can be weapons, fuel tanks, designation pods, countermeasure pods, and decoys. You can add armor or defensive systems to your vehicles and upgrade their weapons and sensors. Special forces have access to a wide variety of equipment like suppressors, thermal optics, reconnaissance drones, explosive charges, and more. This trailer is said to be showing off actual game units. It's not a cinematic render. So everything you see here you can play within the game. You need to create the right combination of units to win. Use paratroopers and helicopters to rapidly seize key locations, reinforce them with heavy tanks, and break enemy counterattacks with artillery and tactical missiles. Infiltrate special forces behind enemy lines to disrupt enemy logistics and provide laser designation for your planes. The terrain can be used to your advantage to ambush, outflank, and outsmart your enemy. And outsmarting enemies is basically the whole idea of this next game. Developers at Dream Harvest are making a post-cyberpunk strategy game called NeuroSlicers, set in a city named Katina, across which there is a networked cyber layer called NeuroNet. You play as a NeuroSlicer and are free to engage with the factions and corporations of Katina however you please, as they fight for control over this network. You get to build dynamic relationships with a cast of vibrant characters who may aid or hinder you as you work towards becoming the ultimate slicer. And this you do by earning, crafting, and leveling up customizable node tech scripts and mods. The game can be played in solo, co-op, PvP, and PvPvE modes, which all seamlessly fit into an ongoing narrative campaign, while the escalation system is there to progress the difficulty as you play. Instead of seeing how fast you can click, NeuroSlicers tests you with how fast you can think. Using intelligent AI-powered units, you are free to make more significant and strategic decisions that focus on territory control, resource management, upgrading, and careful placement of customizable buildings, units, and powerful function abilities. Before moving on to the second part of this list, I want to talk about several games which are not yet ready to fully show off their gameplay, but which I would encourage you to look into and start following or maybe visiting their Discord channels. Stargate Timekeepers is being developed by Creative Forge Games and is set at the end of Season 7 of Stargate SG-1 TV series. It will let you play as Commander Eva McCain and her crew while helping the main SG-1 team against Anubis's fleet and then branching off into a separate new storyline. You will engage in combat with the Goa'uld system lords, rescue allies from danger, and travel through both space and time, exploring different points in the Stargate timeline. Once gameplay is available, we will talk more about it. It is a similar situation with Project Titan, an indie-developed single and multiplayer RTS with a storyline 2,000 years long. Its novel idea is that units like tanks, troops, and drones last and evolve with the player throughout the match rather than being thrown into action to be destroyed in seconds, with the addition of customization in how weapons, components, and units are built and deployed. The buildings also offer something rarely seen, the ability to go in and walk in them, something Peter saw last time in Command & Conquer Renegade. The levels are planned to be insanely big, 64 square kilometers with different biomes, but this is a long way off as they plan to start small and scale up with updates and constant development shown by their very large and detailed roadmap. Lords of Solgrund, a brainchild of a lone developer, definitely looks old school, and it plays that way too. Build a town center, homes for the population, grow food on fields, harvest, collect stone and wood, build up an army, and crush your enemies. There There are several interesting ideas in it also. The Gallows, an event the player can organize in order to scare off criminals. The soldier morale system with happiness and fear, which boost or negatively impact their hit points, and the Jester Festival, which helps increase citizen happiness. There will be several biomes, weather effects, disease, research, bandit raids, and town fires in the game, while it has both single and multiplayer modes. Now, let's get back to games with more substantial gameplay shown. Alien Marauder is a sci-fi RTS with a survival twist. The players find themselves as leaders of a human mining expedition on an alien planet where they besieged by Vaxxin, the local carnivorous wildlife. You must build and defend your base if you want to survive the oncoming onslaught, and you can do so in two modes, the survival and defensive mode. In one, you collect resources from the planet, in the other, solely from the carcasses of slain Vaxxin hordes. It is being developed by YC Games, and it just had a playtest beta on Steam. Its developers boldly boast their engine being capable of handling over 10,000 combat units simultaneously and up to 100,000 units on the screen at one time. And those 100,000 units are mostly the Vexen. These fearsome creatures are awakened by the noise of the human mining efforts, and they emerge from their deep underground nests to attack the expeditionary forces. They even devour the expedition's existing resources to breed new Vexen offspring and swarm your base. Now, because this wouldn't be a true RTS and base building games list without a supreme commander spiritual successor, let's take a look at Sanctuary, a game for which the developers from the brand new indie studio in Heart Media also take Planetary Annihilation, Homeworld, and Ashes of the Singularity as inspiration. They currently support spectacularly good performance through multi-threading optimization in the Unity engine and battles of up to 8 players and 10,000 units as multiplayer has been made first. If their Kickstarter ends successfully, they aim to provide a full single-player campaign, naval fleet, automated ladder matchmaking, and at least 25 maps. Add that to a system of taking command in the middle of battle replay, and 16, 32, or even 64 player support with many more planned features. The setting of Sanctuary is on a Dyson sphere built around our own sun in the distant future. All projectiles are simulated in real time, which is a staple of these kinds of games. Each of the 3 visually and functionally distinct factions will have at least 50 different units, which you will more easily control using the strategic zoom and waypoint viewer. Modding support is already baked in, a freely available mapping tool to begin with. There are some aspects of the game they didn't want to share yet, but promised it is going to be on an epic scale and in the Kickstarter info. And here is one more game inspired by Planetary Annihilation that I need to showcase to you, Fragile Existence. It is an RTS with space-based fleet combat and a fully 3D planet-based battle layer in which the last surviving fleet of humankind fights its enemies. If you have watched the Battlestar Galactica TV show, you will be right at home here, especially because of the faction system and individual ship allegiances inside the fleet. There are also detailed ship inventories in the game, hero-like leaders, fleet morale, and loyalty mechanic. You can seamlessly transition planetside right down from space in order to build up a base and send out harvesters to collect resources. Sometimes you will meet local resistance in the form of rogue AIs or other kind of enemies, so defenses are crucial. Fragile Existence is being made by a solo developer, Lee Harris, in the Unity engine. His goal is for the players to enjoy a single-player, non-linear campaign alongside skirmish scenario mode. He has built-in modding support in the form of planet system scenario editors. Players will research new tech, hoping to get that extra edge to stay ahead of the relentless enemy force pursuing them to the ends of the universe. There is another game with a very similar concept and story, but we will keep that one for the next list alongside another dozen RTS and base building games. And this is where our video ends, my fellow gamers. I hope you have enjoyed this one, and remember, more videos like it are on the way, and they will be posted here as cards on the screen. If you have enjoyed my presentation, I want to invite you to check out my channel where I play a variety of simulation and management games. The link is in the description below. Thank you for watching, and happy gaming.